You're listening to the Hidden Killers Podcast
with Tony Bruschi.
Secret Service investigative consultant, former Secret Service investigative consultant Jim Rathman is joining us today to talk about what's going on in the world of the Idaho Four that lost their lives so brutally at the beginning, or the end of last year, rather, to alleged murderer Bryan Kohberger. Just recently, some documents being filed asking for some more time to produce witnesses and go through all the evidence against him. Bryan Kohberger had a scheduled hearing for later in the month of May, and then the preliminary hearing taking place in June. That may all be up in the air now. Jim, what's your take on this?
Yeah, it happens all the time in criminal cases. They will ask for criminal defense attorneys will ask for extensions, whether they're looking for an expert to review something, if they're waiting for something to come back from a crime lab, if there's something that they have that they want to see that could either exonerate their client or be able to understand exactly what it is. Nothing pending, so to speak. So they'll ask for an extension that gives it the time frame for that to come in to properly review it, talk to the other council members, co-counsel on the case, and then be able to come into court for the next hearing. I don't, as of now, at least, I don't know of anything that would prohibit evidence from being allowed into court. I don't see, at least from anything that I've heard, has been collected illegally or improperly. So I just think it's just they just need more time to do some reviews.
One of the things that they had mentioned in there was the extreme media coverage of this case, and obviously it has been very extreme from day number one. And they wanted to get some sort of a study done, from what I understand, of the impact that it's making on society and the potential jurors that are out there. What does that prove, other than, yes, it's been covered very heavily, and your likelihood of having a biased juror certainly does go up? Does that need, extra attention or some sort of a study? Would that be in relation to determining if this thing should be taking place in its current location? What can you speak to of that?
Well, you're exactly right. I think the reason they're doing this study is to try to get it moved out of there into another area where it's not so heavily focused. Because it's got to be very hard to find a 12 people that know nothing about this case. Mm-hmm. It is extremely high profile, and it has been put on every news station and talked about constantly. But that happens with a lot of high profile cases, and there will be a jury at some point, and they will search until they find the proper 12 that they feel can listen to the case and not be biased, at least to the best of their abilities. And it's going to go forward one way or another. So it's either a way to stall more time or try to get it moved out of there into another jurisdiction. I
know he's now hired another attorney that has come on to help defend, another one that has a very good track record in Idaho. Any thoughts on that, on adding more to the defense? Not surprising in a capital case like this, but can you speak to any of the additional attorney that's come on to this?
No, I don't think it's unusual. He's trying to build up the best defense he can for himself. I'm sure the family has some sort of input to that as well, and what they're trying to push for him to do. Look, he's not an uneducated person. I mean, clearly he's passed and gotten these high level degrees. He's quite educated. We saw that in the way he talked on his traffic stop and so on. He's a very well educated human being. But no matter who he adds to that defense, he's going to have a very, very, very tough time trying to prove that he wasn't the one involved in this case.
This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast.
The Hidden Killers Podcast.
With Tony Bruschi.
Jim Rathman, former Secret Service investigative consultant. His website, JimRathmanCompany.com. Thank you so much for your insight. Always very much appreciated. If you like the podcast, press subscribe wherever you download it so you don't miss any breaking updates and discussions on the cases that we're following for you right here. I'm Tony Bruschi. Stay with us.